All right, looks like today we are getting existential a little bit, but maybe not that existential as well. Today should be interesting. Today is July 25th, 2026. Today is probably going to be very existential just because of the principle and some of the things I need to talk about today. But first, I wanted to address some of the things that have happened recently in my life, things that I've been working on and have gotten better at. So, first things first, I have gotten a lot better at accepting things as they are. Even when I see something and it makes my heart ache and things like that, I'm not numb. I'm still feeling my emotions. I have not gone hollow. I've not gone back on my word and chosen to go hollow. That has not happened. So I'm pretty proud of that. I've also, like, in accepting things, I haven't had the heartache of seeing reposts, of seeing like what people are doing, like FOMO or anything like that. Like, I haven't had that, at least yesterday. I didn't have that. I have found myself I did slip a little bit yesterday. I did slip a little bit, but it didn't feel like I fell. It felt like I just slipped, like I not tumbled, but like I just slipped and I caught myself. And I think that's a really important not distinction. I think that's an important thing to recognize, that sometimes you can slip and you're not falling. You can slip and you can catch yourself. What else? I sent an email to an artist about my animated project, so hopefully we will be in communication and we will be able to get like character designs and stuff like that. That would be really cool. Which that's terrifying, by the way. Like, me having to be a producer fucking blows. Like, I've always hated the job of a producer. It just requires me to do a lot of talking to people. I don't feel as creative. Like, there's a lot of things to worry about and stress about. How many people are there? How are we funding this project? How am I paying these people? There's just so many questions, and like, it's not for me. Like, if I had a choice, it's definitely not for me, but it is a hat that I am willing to put on because I really believe in this project. You know what I mean? So there's that. What else? I'm getting better at being present. I'm getting better at living here in the present, not being overwhelmed by the past and not being terrified by possible futures. I'm getting better at just being here. And that's really strange for me, as y'all know, because I have not lived in the present before, ever, in my 27 years of roaming this planet. And it's okay. Like, it's actually kind of okay. Like, the present for me in a lot of ways like sucks, right? But I think the good thing about the present is that if you feel like the present sucks, you can change it. Like, you can actively change it. Like, oh, if you do things in the present, it'll change the future, so why not live in the future? That's like kind of how I thought. But it's like, no, like, live in the present. Like, the future is going to be ever changing. You can't control how the future is going to turn out. You can control how your present is going to turn out. So I'm working on that, and I'm getting better at it, and it's pretty cool so far. You know, like, I'm enjoying being present and not having a lot of the worries that I tend to have just in general, like, in my life. So I think all of that brings us to this very existentialist principle for today. We are 17 days in, technically 18, but we are 17 days in, and I feel like this one's a big one for everybody, not just me. Today's principle in Musashi's Dokoro is do not fear death. I know, right? Like, what do you mean do not fear death? Like, it's death, we're mortal, that's the unknown, that's terrifying. And you know what's really interesting? I consume a lot of media. I watch a lot of shows. I watch a lot of well-written shows, but like I watch a lot of shows and I consume a lot of media, and a lot of shows talk about death. Like they just do. Now I'm very comfortable with death. I'm not at a point where I think about, I don't think about like the finality of my life and my existence and be like, oh my gosh, like, this is terrible, like I'm gonna die and then I'm gonna go to hell. And I used to 100%, and that's the thing, is I think the fear of death is what causes, and I'll only speak for myself, I won't speak for anyone else, but I feel like the fear of death is what causes a ton of pain, anxiety, worry. Because like if I'm worried about it, like I could die in the next 30 fucking minutes, like you don't know, right? Like, but if you're thinking about like, oh my god, what's gonna happen when I die, you are intrinsically living in the future. You have no idea. Like for all I know, if you know, like if you don't believe in God, if you just believe like in the science of it and shit like that, like yeah, you're gonna die, you're gonna go into the dirt, and to the dust you shall return. I know that was biblical, but like, like you're gonna go to the dirt and you're gonna feed the earth. That's it, right? If you're on that side of the world. If you're on the other side of the world, and like let's say you have the Christian faith, and it's like, well, you're gonna go to heaven, or if you're Catholic, then like, oh, you're gonna go to heaven, or you're gonna go to hell, or like whatever. But it's like, even our like understanding of that. Let me not get on a fucking theology rant, because I have issues with how certain churches teach hell, because I know a lot of people do not read their Bibles. But that is besides the point. I'm not going to get on a theological rant about this. We're talking about this in a philosophical sense. Do not fear death, I think, harkens to memento mori. So if you don't know what that means, it's a Latin phrase. It's a Latin phrase that means remember that you will die. And it's not meant to be this like, woo, let's celebrate that we're all gonna die one day, like yeah, like this is great. It's not about that. It's about remember that your time is finite, so don't spend your life with regrets. A lot of people that are like on their deathbed, they're always talking about like, man, I wish I did more, I wish I did this, I wish I did this. And I think a part of that is because we're so terrified of death. Like we're so petrified by this unknown gap in our knowledge base, this unknown moment in our lifetime, or I guess technically not our lifetime, but you know what I'm saying. So I think we're so petrified by it that we go and we do things within our present, like within our living lives, that we probably wouldn't do if we weren't worried about it. Like, I think if I wasn't afraid of death, I probably wouldn't have cared so much about like how I'm perceived by other people. I think I won't care so much about what other people thought of me. I don't think I would care so much about, look, like I'm 27 and like, yeah, like I want kids, but what if I fuck up this relationship? Like what, like I don't think that I'd care so much about the mistakes that are made. You probably wouldn't even think of them as mistakes. You would probably think of them as you're living your life to the best of your ability. And maybe that's why I don't hold grudges. Like more so, like more than just like, oh, you're reading the Dakota and that's like a law, don't hold grudges. No, like maybe that's why I've never been a person that's able to hold grudges. I hold, well, aside from on myself, like I've held grudges on myself my entire life. which we learn throughout this journey, but that's besides the point. I digress. I am not a person that can hold a grudge on somebody else. And the thing is, like, when you think about it, let's say that you're someone that can hold grudges, right? And it's like, okay, you're holding this grudge on this person. Yes, I am. Okay. Would you hold that grudge if they had cancer? And then, of course, like most people, unless like you really hate that person, most people are like, no, I'm not holding a grudge on someone that has cancer. It's like, okay, why? Because they're dying. And it's like, but we're all dying. We're all going to die. Why is it different now? Because you have a timeline. Now it's different. You have a timeline on when you're gonna die, so now you do all of these things that you've never that you've always wanted to do but felt like you couldn't, because now you have a timeline. So I think that we collectively, like as a people, think that we're so scared of death that we allow ourselves to die long before we actually physically die. There was a movie, I don't remember which movie. It's either a movie or a show. I want to say it's a movie. And I don't remember what it's called, but I remember the scene. And it has these two characters. They're having this conversation, and the important thing about this conversation is one character was like, it says here, like, you studied like in France, like culinary, like you did all these things, and it seemed like that was your passion. Like, why are you here? Like, why are you an accountant? I don't know if it was an accountant, I'm making that up, but the premise is what matters. Okay, stay with me here. I know we're going on a tangent, stay with me. So like, you studied French cuisine, you were like the top, like you did all this stuff, you graduated summa cum laude, like whatever. Why are you an accountant? How much did they pay you to give up on your dreams? And I think that's the thing about us. I think that's the thing about humans. I think we get so petrified at the finality of our lives that we're willing to give up our dreams for what we think is stability. You know, like, man, I feel like that's kind of how it is for artists, like, and creatives in general. Like your whole life you have people closest to you, people around you, people just in general constantly telling you, like, oh god, like, okay, you're an artist, like, okay, got it, you're gonna be a struggling artist for your entire life. Like, most artists don't make it big until after they die and shit like that. It's like maybe I'm not doing it because I want to be big. Maybe I'm not doing it so I can be big and like, I'm the most well-renowned artist ever. I'm Basquiat in the flesh. Like, what was Kanye saying? Like, I don't even know like what he had actually said. Like, I think he said he was Da Vinci. I don't fucking remember. The point is this: I don't think that you create and you make art because that's your goal. I think you create and make art because that is your life. That's your self-expression. That's what keeps you going. That's what gets you up in the morning. You know what I mean? And so with that, I don't think that you can have this fear of death, because it just paralyzes you. You know? I think you can die at 20 and be buried at 82. You know what I mean? Like, I think by worrying so much about the future in general, which is something I struggle with, but like, I think worrying about death in this sense is just kind of like, I think it's kind of detrimental to your life. Damn, I'm so worried that I'm gonna die alone that I'm willing to stay in an abusive relationship. Damn, I'm so worried that I'm never gonna have kids that I'm willing to stay in a relationship where I know this man doesn't love me. Like, oh, I'm so worried that I'm gonna die, that I fall into like a religion that I don't believe in, like that I take issues with or whatever. Like, I think we do a lot of things out of the fear of death. But death is like inevitable, and I think we like to think that death is cruel. I don't think death is cruel. If anything, I could make a very strong argument that, like, if these were characters, right? If death was a character and life was a character, life is probably more cruel than death is. I think death is accepting. I think death is understanding. I think death is patient, and death is kind in a lot of ways. You know, like, death is the release, while life is this endless buildup till the release. Like, if we're talking like writing terms, right? If we're talking setup and payoff, life is the setup and death's the payoff. And everyone loves when the payoff happens in a film. Like Into the Spider-Verse, everything leading up to when Miles jumps off the fucking building in his new suit, right? All of that's set up for the what's up danger scene, for the I'm swinging through the city now, like I finally made it, like all that shit. It's all set up. It's Chekhov's gun fucking firing in fully automatic, and it's perfect. It's actually perfect. So I think life and death are like in that dance. It's set up and it's payoff. But when we think about death, we don't think of it like, oh, like this is the payoff, like this is the acceptance part, this is the non-painful part, this is it. Because even if you were to get shot and you're bleeding out, right, like let's say you're like bleeding out on the side of the mountain, it's like snowing, but like another side is like the leaves are falling because it's fall or something like that, like peak bleed out spots. Okay, like y'all know what I'm talking about. Or some of y'all might know what I'm talking about. People that think about shit that I think about know what I'm talking about. So you're in a peak bleed out spot and you're like, damn, I'm bleeding out, this is super painful, like this fucking blows, right? You're still alive at that point. Like, it's not death that's hurting you, you're alive. That's what's like causing you this pain. It's still the setup, and then you die, and it's that release. You're not in pain anymore. People that are fighting ailments for years and shit like that, like they're in pain, and then they die, and then what do we say? Well, they're not in pain anymore. That's a release. So if you see where I'm coming from with this, I think that you can remember that you're going to die and cherish each day, and just shed this paralyzing anxiety. You know what I mean? Like think about it, right? Like, okay, remember that you're gonna die. All right, I'm gonna die one day. Maybe I'm gonna ask that girl out. Maybe I'm gonna ask that guy out. Maybe I do think that I'm gay, and I'm not entirely sure, and I'm kind of scared to like find out, you know, for XYZ reasons or whatever. But like, maybe I asked them out. Like, damn, I really love this car. It's my dream car. But oh wait, I'm gonna die one day. Maybe I should buy my dream car. Wait, I'm gonna die one day. Maybe I should give my dream life one more chance. Hey, Tamari, you're gonna die one day. Maybe you should try to live your life instead of just existing in it. Maybe you should try to live in the present instead of constantly being in the future, chock full of anxiety and worrying about things that are out of your control. Maybe she loves you. Maybe what you're going through right now is because she loves you. Why should I fear death? There's an old philosopher, and I think it's written down in here as well, so let me double. Yeah. Epicurus. So Epicurus had once said, why should I fear death? If I am death, death is not. Oh no, sorry. Let me not misquote him. He says, why should I fear death? If I am, death is not. If death is, I am not. Which, if you don't really understand that, basically means, why should I fear death? Because as long as I exist, that means death does not exist for me. And if death exists, I don't exist at all. So what is there to be afraid of? Because I can't be afraid if I don't exist. So in other words, if you're alive, you have no reason to fear death, because you being alive means that death is nowhere near you. Like you're not dead. Why are you afraid of something that hasn't even came to you yet? You know? That doesn't mean just like go and throw your fucking life away. It doesn't mean go out like, man, why should I, like, memento mori, right? Like, remember, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go skydiving without a parachute and no one to catch me, or like no like net trampoline thing like set up for me. Like, no, that's just suicide. Like, that's not that isn't the acceptance of memento mori. That's suicidal. That's just it, you know? So whatever. It's such a funny fucking like analogy. It's not funny. That's not fucking funny. It's a little funny. To me, it's a little funny. Okay. I think that we have this fear of death because we're not in immediate peril all the fucking time. You know, like, this isn't feudal Japan where people are ransacking houses and like samurais are fighting like you're not in immediate peril, you know? Like, maybe if you're a soldier and you're out like at war, but you're also not always in immediate peril. Like, you're not in a foxhole the entire fucking time. You're not in a trench the entire fucking time, you know? Like, you're not in immediate danger 90% of the time in your life. Okay, probably 95. And so with that, without being in immediate danger, like, I understand that like recognizing the fact that like you're gonna die is still going to remain existential, but recognizing that you're gonna die could also mean for you to cherish each day that you get without being paralyzed about anxiety about what's gonna happen. Like think about it. Like, seriously, like, not to make anyone fucking fall into like, not to make anyone fall into like an existential fucking crisis. Like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm trying to do either. But just flat out, like, think about it. If you're gonna die anyway, and that's like the one thing in the future that you know for sure is gonna happen, and let's say you've been following along here on like with the Dakota and everything, and you're like, well, I'm supposed to accept things just the way that they are. Okay, cool. And like, oh, I'm supposed to, you know, be present, not supposed to like live in the future to like have these anxieties. Okay, cool. Those are lessons that we've learned throughout the 17 days that we've been on this journey, right? Right. Okay. Why should fearing death be any different? Isn't that the exact same principle? Accept the world for what it is. You will die. Accept that you will die. Do not live in the past or the future. Be in the present. Okay, death is the future. Death's the future. There's people that are terminally ill. Okay, I spent a lot of time with people that are terminally ill. People that are terminally ill do not spend every waking moment of their life worrying about when they're gonna die or how much time they have left to die. No, they fucking sit there and they're like, damn, so that's the date. okay, well, I'm alive today. What can I do today? Why is it any different? Like, why is it so much easier to accept that you're gonna die when you have a timeline? Like, why is it so easy to live your life when you know for certain when you're gonna die? If anything, I feel like that'd be like way more terrifying, because then you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't do all the things that I wanted to do. Well, you may never do all the things that you want to do. Like, you might you might have a fucking bucket list of 1,000 things, and you finish the entire bucket list, and then the day comes and you probably think of something else that you wanted to do before you died. It's never ending. You know what I mean? Like, it's never ending. So why be afraid? Excuse me. Like, why be afraid? You know? You're just living in the future probably to an unhealthy amount, but like you're living in the future. I think I did a decent job at staying away from theology for this conversation, which is a little hard because I'd have some things to say as a spiritual man myself, like as a man that like, you know, will read the Torah or like read the Bible, sometimes the Quran, as a man that like studies mythologies as well and philosophies and stuff. Like I have some takes about the way that certain theologies, primarily the way that Christianity is taught, but for the sake of this argument, I don't think that really matters. I think we should look at it from a philosophical point of view, as a deeply interpersonal point of view. I need water is basically what I'm learning, so that means I've been talking too much. Yeah, I've been talking too much on my fucking self-discovery journey. That's so funny. Anyway, the point is this: death is something that comes in the future, and it's unavoidable. And because it's unavoidable, just like everything else in your life that's out of your control, you can accept that it's out of your control and face it with integrity and face it with discipline. You can just face it. You know, like, I remember the episode of View from Halfway Down in BoJack Horseman. And the part that always stuck out to me, it kind of gave me an existential crisis when I had first seen it, but the more that I watch the show, and because I watch it often, the more I've come to like really appreciate what they said about it. Because when BoJack's staring into the dark abyss, like he's staring into the door, he's staring death in the face. And he asks, is it terrifying? I think that really does harken to this idea of do not fear death, because you're going to look death in the face one day, and you don't want to look at death and think, it's this terrifying, like holy shit, like you don't want to be petrified when that time comes, because by then it's too late anyway, you know. But the important bit comes from Herb in that sequence. The important bit is when Herb says, no, I don't think so. It's just the way it is. The drip finally stops. That's it. There's nothing inherently terrifying about death, because death, by nature, has always been what it's been. You know? And we see it all the time in our world. We just don't acknowledge it. Things come and go. Like sometimes you see squirrels in your tree, you see those squirrels for 2 years, and then you never see those squirrels again, and you think, oh, they probably just moved trees, or maybe they died. I think squirrels live longer than 2 years, but like, you see what I'm saying? We're always watching things die, and we're watching other things come back and replace them. Every year we watch the leaves go. Right? We watch trees wither away, we watch the leaves go, all this stuff, and then eventually they come back. And there's this cycle to life that we're constantly seeing death in many different forms. And I think that's supposed to be comforting, like knowing like, hey, my time might end, or my time will end eventually, but things will continue. Like, the people that I love will be okay. The things that I love to do, I'd still love to do them, if it, like, whatever. Another really good one is in The Good Place, when Chidi, it's at the end, so spoilers, but Chidi is having a conversation with Eleanor, and he brings up Eastern philosophy. It's like a Buddhist like proverb, or like it's a Buddhist belief, and the way it's broken down is essentially life is this wave, right? It's this wave. It comes from the ocean. It's a wave. It reaches the sand. It washes ashore. Like, okay, but when it hits the shore, right, like, it's not a wave anymore. It's like, yeah, it's not a wave. Okay, so then what happens to it? And then it returns back to the ocean. You weren't afraid of death before you had consciousness. And eventually, you will die, and then you will return back to the ocean. So what's there to be afraid of? I would employ all of us to try our best to not be so caught up in the future, so caught up in, hell, even the past, but we're talking about death, so let's talk about the future. Let's try not to be so caught up in the future that we allow ourselves to die before our physical time has come. That's what I think about the principle of do not fear death. That is what I think about of memento mori. Remember that you will die. And I'll raise you one even better. Amor fati, which essentially breaks down, another Latin phrase, essentially breaks down to the love of life. Love your life. Do the things that you want to do in your life. Say the things that you want to say. Sure, you're gonna make mistakes. Sure, you might have said something wrong, like differently than you had intended. But attempting to live a life while you're petrified by the anxiety that comes with worrying about when you're going to die prevents you from living a life that you love anyway. That's what I think about death. That's what I think about the release of control. Okay. I think that's everything that I have to say on this topic. I guess closing words. Closing words are this. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. And so cherish every single day that you're alive without the petrifying anxiety of worrying about what's going to happen. God only knows when. And amor fati. Love life. Enjoy each day. Cherish each day. Again, cherish. Not just enjoy. Not just be happy that I'm alive. No. Cherish each day that you get. Every single day. Just cherish each day that you get. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It'll all be okay. In the end, it will all be okay. The wave will hit the shore and the water will return to the ocean. And it will go again. I don't do it with that hand.